We have 2 more acts left before the show finishes. The first one goes by the name of Rosemary.
Hey everyone, I'm Rosemary. How you all doing? Having fun? Before I start, I just want to address an issue, and that issue is my face. I know that I look quite serious, sort of like the wind changed while I was reading the Guardian comment is free section. One of my friends actually recently told me that I look like I forgot what I was meant to be doing, but I know it was important. So if at any point during the set I sort of look like I'm wondering whose birthday I forgot, I'm not, it's just my face. Although actually you look quite cardigan responsible. Could you remind me at the end to send a card to my granny? Thank you, thanks. I don't want to alienate you all right off the top, but I am going to say something quite controversial, so just bear with me. I like my job. It's okay. I'm an environmental campaigner. You can hold the applause, you're all welcome. And it's, for the most part, it's pretty much like any other job. I go to an office, I stay there for 7 hours, I have some quite annoying colleagues. But I think what I really, really enjoy about it, actually, is that at the end of the day, when I go home, I just get to be really smug and self-righteous. And that does backfire, though. My cousin recently got married in Scotland, and my dad asked me what flight I wanted him to book me, and I immediately clambered onto my high horse. And I told him that I'd be getting the train, thank you. Flying to Scotland is absolutely ridiculous and terrible for your carbon footprint. I then went to book the train. And realised it was going to be about £100. So I gave him a call. I said, Dad, got a problem? And he was like, don't worry, I've got this. I'm going to transfer you the money that the flights cost. Score. Probably going to have enough left over for train gin. You know what I'm talking about. So the next day he texts me and he says he's done it. So I get out my phone, check my bank balance. How much was it? £17. So the flight was great. I do think, though, we do all sort of live in that tension between what we know is right and what is best for us. I love taxi. I love my grandparents, honestly, but they're getting on a bit. They're about to turn 90, and I think anyone with grandparents that age, like you start to worry that they are gonna die. And I'm like particularly worried about that for my dad. I think he'll be devastated, and that's gonna be really awful. But like at the same time, if I ever want to buy a house, I am a millennial. I am not ashamed to admit that. I think that's why I can't afford trains. But I think overall, actually, being a millennial gets a bit of a bad rap. It's not as bad as it seems. And I think, actually, you get quite a lot of great opportunities. I recently had the opportunity to go traveling for a couple of months in Central America, and that was great. I'm so confident that I'm never going to earn as much as my parents that I feel like I've got the opportunity to follow my passions rather than money. I also got the opportunity to develop crippling anxiety. I think, on a serious note, like mental health is actually one of those things that's really difficult to talk about. I think maybe people feel awkward about it. I know I do. I particularly struggle to talk to my parents about it. I struggle to talk to them about mental health, and I struggle to talk to them about the men I'm dating. And I was just thinking about that recently, and I realised they do have something in common in that they're both shit. Anxiety is quite difficult to deal with, but in a perverse kind of way, I do sort of enjoy the worrying that comes with it, which is fortunate because I'm both talented at it and really willing to put the time in. I just think it's nice to have a hobby. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I do think that if there was an Olympic sport for worrying, No, I think I would. I actually do think I would enter. I would. I am just worried I'd let the team down. Before I go, I just want to leave you with a little story. I was reading The Guardian recently, obviously, and I was reading this story about how the government are incentivising people with disabilities to go back to work, and the way that they're doing that is by taking away their disability benefits. And so what I took from that is that politicians know the exact level of poverty that you have to put someone at before it cures any and all disabilities. And I actually think, like, that's fucking horrible. Like, that is so selfish. How long have they known that and not told us? They couldn't have given the NHS a heads up. My cousin uses a wheelchair. She is here tonight. And I decided, after I read that article, no time like the present, I am going to test the theory. So I went round to hers, and what I did is I took her purse, and I stood on a chair so that she couldn't reach me. And I just started taking money out of her purse and putting it in my pocket. Because I thought at some point, she's going to get up and be cured, and she'll stop me, because we'll have reached, yeah. The bad news is it didn't work. But the good news is I can afford the train now. Thank you very much.